Hello, everyone. Bright light. So, as mentioned, my name is Chris, founder of DataCircle. And today we'll be talking about the data sharing economy and the introduction to the data asset sale concept. So, before starting for the data sharing economy, we need to understand what is a sharing economy. Here you can see a few companies that actually evolved and revolutionized the sharing economy. Airbnb, Lyft, Drive Now even. What they do is they take unused resources and they give you a way to make value out of them. Airbnb helps you get use of your extra room. Afterwards, there are a lot of other companies that started on the same topic. They do car share, food share, apartment share, peer-to-peer lending, bicycle share, and I've recently noticed about one that does pet sitting sharing. But what they do is they don't only, when you use those services, you don't only share your items, you also share your data. So a company like Uber or Lyft or Airbnb, you give your location, you give ratings, you give brand data. And all those information were previously owned by companies like Google. I think if someone has either talked about it, that they used to gather all the data and being centralized in one place, but now all those companies make use of it without having to buy them from other aggregators. So now we come into the B2B data sharing. We take this successful model of sharing items of unused resources, and we move it into the B2B world. And that was a question. But yes, we can do it. And it has quite a few advantages. By doing that, we create a system where companies can share their data. They share the data with partners, manufacturers, suppliers. And it has advantages, for example, in supply chain, in food supply chain specific. So we can track an item from packaging to consumption, how long it's going to take, how long we can keep it in store. And of course, we can share customer profiles, product trends, improving not just the customer experience, but also the product itself, and thus improving conversion rates. So now, in order to do the data sharing economy, we need to start doing data asset sales. In short, we're going to start to make use of product that we are not using currently in our company, or are actually using, but we see an extra potential in such information. Especially in Germany, we have a problem that companies are afraid to do that. They don't really want to share their data, and it's based on a few factors, like they're afraid that the competitors will get hold of them. But similar issue was with white labeling. Companies didn't want to actually white label the products because they thought they're going to lose the brand. But actually it's shown that volume beats brand. Then we have the effort that they believe that the data that they have gathered, just because of their users or because they actually tried to gather all the data, that they will not be able to find a price tag that is big enough to make a compensation. And also place. There is no actual place where they're actually going to share that data. You're going to have to go and find your own buyer. You need to make all the process on your own. So what does the data asset sale bring? So as I mentioned, it brings extra revenue. It brings extra revenue. The example that I gave about white labeling before, it brings brand awareness. So many companies do that. They use data that they have as insights. They share them with the crowd. They share them in social media, and they gain attention. And so many times I've heard of this information being shared, something that was revolutionary that they found out, and then I became a supplier. I joined the service more or less. And growth. In the sharing economy, you don't only sell, but you also buy. There are so many companies that need that small spark of information that will lead them into becoming bigger, and they just don't have the access to talk to bigger companies or don't have the ability to buy all the data from Google, but they might be able to do from another company. This is a very interesting tweet. It was a fake tweet by Mark Zuckerberg. It appeared after Mark Zuckerberg said, when I was a human. So the main point is that Facebook, other people said that the same thing. They gather everything. I think there was a slide that 70% of the data on the web are owned by Facebook and Google. We don't have to only lead to them. we can create this data sharing economy and break the bubble of only aiming at Facebook or Google to get our source of information. So this is actually how it should be. So we start with Elon Musk's space travel on top, then Virgin's airlines, and then to your dining reservation in the evening. All those companies could communicate, share the experience that they have about you, share the data that they have, and then improve the whole flow. And this is how it's going to be. We created DataCircle, which is a data exchange network that we more or less want to keep it simple. I'm not going to add any buzzwords or technologies because it's of no use. So the main thing is that you should be able to upload, share your data, and then finish. That's it. So a bit on the implementation of this. So there are some key features that we wanted to bring. One of them is discoverability. It's OK. We said we were going to share. We're going to start sharing the data. But we need to be able to find the data. We need to be able to go into a platform and say, yes, I'm looking for that in that vertical, and this is it. Then we need to lower the entry barrier. There are a lot of data aggregators out there, and one of the things is that they won't talk to you if you're not big enough. They will not incorporate you into their data unless you're of valuable size. But in a more marketplace/e-commerce approach, you don't have such an issue. And then, of course, transparency. Transparency here is that you know who you sell to and who you buy from. This is key also for the latest privacy laws, that they are not fulfilled by data aggregators unless they actually change. Ownership. It's been a big deal about who owns the data, but here it's pretty clear. Provider owns the data. Then, sorry for many people, but we're not using the blockchain. We're talking about enterprise-level data, and in such a sector, moving data on a network has no meaning. It increases the security risks and doesn't provide any. It increases the complexity of actually creating a document that says, this is our privacy policy in our company. So we go more into a distributed system. So the data remain at the provider's data source. You keep your data until someone wants to buy them. Of course, there are some features in the middle that will allow to give you a customization of what it is and give you an idea of how it looks like, but the data remains at your service. So this is actually the last slide, and it's more like food for thought. This is where everyone wants to identify themselves and see where do they fit in. So which companies can use this? Any organization that is currently trading or exchanging data. So data brokers, market research firms. Then we do any company that actually produces commercial data. Think of e-commerce shops. They have brand data that they can resell afterwards. And then we're looking at any organization that is looking for that data. If you're looking for data that wants for your growth, to support your sales, your marketing campaign, your app performance, research and development, that's what you should be looking at. And the last two are a bit more different. So through this concept of sharing data, it's not only buy and sell. You can actually do it in a collaboration sense. In classic e-commerce, you have communication between the actual shop and the merchants. This is a constant communication of data. And through this platform, you'll be able to do the same thing. And lastly, it's a big sector, actually, academia and research, NGOs, providing a method of attribution. There are so many research papers that they mention that they use some data set, but the data set is not available. So you could be able to upload the data set, make it available online, and then even create a sort of revenue. You can create a data set, say that on my paper, we use this data set, it's available here. Support the researcher by paying the 10 euros or how much, and then even can become free. That's all in short. I speak a bit fast. So I don't know if anyone has questions. Be glad to take, or you can find me on the side. OK, thank you.